everybody, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Rag-venturediaries. My name's John. Now today I'm out on the Pembrokeshire coast path in my newly converted off-grid campervan, Griffin. This is my first trip out in the van, so I thought it would be an ideal opportunity to give you a van tour. Now it's a bit blowy outside, so I'm probably not going to be able to put the drone up, but I can show you most of what's gone into the van. So if this is the type of content that you enjoy, please like and subscribe down below and come and join me. So the base vehicle for the conversion is a Fiat Ducato L2 H2 in Primo trim. It's got a 2.2 litre 140 PS engine and a manual gearbox. As you could see from the exterior footage, I wanted a pretty clean and low profile conversion, as in I didn't want vents and filler caps all over the bodywork. So if we run through what we've quickly seen on the exterior, the first thing to note are the windows. The windows are Nomadic arc from Cheshire Vehicles. They are proper motorhome windows in that they're double glazed, they're curved, they're low profile however, with a brushed alloy frame, and they're privacy tinted. They are on gas struts, and they have a built-in fly screen and shutter. The two-lay electric step is on a manual switch, but it's also wired to ignition live, so you can't drive off with it still protruding. So we've got a Fiamma F80S awning installed here, which is on a manual wind out. The handle is installed in the rear bulkhead of the bed, so you'll be able to see that when we look into the garage. The F80S comes in lengths of 290 to 450 centimetres. This being an L2 H2, meaning it's 5.41 metres long and 2.52 metres high, means that we've got one of the longer awnings here, covering the side of the entire vehicle. We've also got an awning light, which hopefully you can see there, which is great for when it gets darker in conjunction with the step. But it's also mounted in a gutter, which prevents the rain falling down into this opening when this door is open. So that's all pretty good. We've got a standard electrical hookup point here. More on the electrical system later. Here are the wastewater and freshwater outlets mounted under the sill to maintain that clean and low profile look. You'll notice we've got a metal hose lock on the freshwater outlet, which means we can also replenish the tank from there. So let's take a look at the interior of the van. Okay, onto the cockpit. So firstly, we've got two captain seats on swivel bases, trimmed out with some nice seat covers from Luxride. If we look at the cockpit, we can see we have a fully digital cockpit with a 10-inch infotainment display, manual gearbox, and we've got full reversing camera system there with sensors as well. So very much like a car style ride. Lots of steering wheel mounted controls, very nice, and fully electrically heated and adjustable wing mirrors. So for putting in those miles, that should be pretty good. If we look at the habitation area, we can see that Vanology Conversions have really made a lot of the space offered by this 5.41 metre Fiat Ducato. If we look at the right hand side there, we can see the kitchen block, but it's got a nice oak surface there. It's got an expandable portion for more work surface area. It's got a nice swan neck tap with detachable hose. We can see it's got some stand-ups there as well, just against the bed bulkhead. And then if we look above the sink, we can see it houses a multifunction microwave. So really a nice little kitchen area there. But let's take a look in a bit more detail. Okay, so here's the expandable work surface on some nice sturdy struts. As I mentioned before, a deep sink, nice swan neck tap with hose, oak work surface, and some sockets there in the corner. We've got a 240 volt socket, a light switch, and we've also got a switch for the pump, and also under work surface lighting or under cabinet lighting. Looking down, we've got a large drawer here for sundries and pots and pans, and over on this side we've got another 2 drawers on the same push locker system for pots and pans. But a really nice piece here is under the work surface on a push system. We've got space for a induction hob, which is really great. And above we have a multi-function microwave, so you're able to air fry, boil, bake, combi or defrost in that. Moving on to the sleeping setup here, we can see we've got a nice small double, and above that we've got some overhead storage, which is really great. Starlink is housed in there, and we've got a rocker switch underneath to enable Starlink. Single windows in the doors behind, as previously stated, with fixed blinds and fly screens. And above the bed we got some nice USB chargers and touch lights, making that a really nice bed space. Under the bed space then we've got an 88 litre Nomadic Arc fridge, really good capacity in there. And then moving around, we've got a bench seat, and inside the bench seat a Trellino separating or composting toilet. Just above that we have our diesel heater, which is a Croac 5 kilowatt altitude model, so excellent for mountaineering expeditions, etc. And then we have a Serbo GX touch showing us the state of our battery, which is currently at 88% and getting 190 watts in through the solar. So that's really good. More on the electrical system a bit later. Above that arrangement we have some overhead lockers, standard stuff on the push pull lock. Again, more moving towards the front of the vehicle, which is above a belted seat. You can see there. Just down to the side of the belted seat we have a rocker switch to put on our hot water system. More on that later. And we can also test how full our tank is there. And then finally we have a 12 volt socket, a socket for under cupboard lighting, and another 230 volt socket. Finally then we have a table, which is on a simple leg system and can pull, detach and stow away when we're driving. Ventilation in the van is provided by a max fan, which we can see there at the front of the van. And if we move past back the ceiling feature panel and any LED lights, we can see a standard motorhome skylight above the bed, offering a lot of ventilation. The max fan remote control is housed here just by the bed, and so we can switch the max fan on and get some decent air pull through using that. Looking at the rear of the vehicle, we can see the awning winding handle mounted on the rear of the bed bulkhead, as mentioned earlier. And down below into the garage, we can see some nice aluminium edging to the flooring and some hard wearing flooring in there. Over on to the left, we can see a 100 litre fresh water tank, which is above wheel arch tank, and the emergency shut-off valve. And below the vehicle, we also have a 50 litre wastewater tank. Slightly to the right of that, we can see a Lavanda 6 litre hot water tank, which is used for the hot water system with the associated accumulators and water pressure pumps below. And then we can see the back of the 88 litre fridge that you were shown earlier. Onto the right of that then, we've a dedicated cupboard for the electrical system, which we'll have a look at later. And then, to the rear of that, we can see a couple of external switches, a 230 volt switch, a 12 volt socket rather, a 12 volt socket, and then switches for LED lighting, which will illuminate the garage space, which are run under the rear of the bed bulkhead. So, let's have a closer look at the electrical system. Here's Griffin's electrical system. The centerpiece of that is this Fogstar Drift lithium battery. You can see there it's a 628 ampere hour battery, but Fogstar Drift underrate their batteries, so it's more like a 640 ampere hour, giving Griffin more than enough power for days off-grid. Then we can see the Multi Plus 2 3000 watt inverter charger. It's a 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter, also a battery charger, and also a transfer switch. Then we have the Smart Solar MPPT charger. You can see that's a 130, meaning the max PV voltage it will accept is 100 volts and the max PV current 30 amps. We then have the Orion XS. That's a 50 amp DC to DC battery charger. It's recommended for use with smart alternators, which Griffin has, and is also acceptable for use with Euro 5 and 6 engines. Then the Serbo GX. The Serbo GX is the communication center for the system, allowing monitoring and control of all Victron components in the system. And I also have, as you've seen previously, the GX Touch, which is the display accessory for the Serbo GX, and it gives you direct monitoring and control of the system. Then you have the Lynx Power In, just to complete the system. 12 volt fuse panel is there, Victron distribution system with RCD, and another emergency cut-off there. So a great little electrical system. I say little, it'll allow Griffin to function off-road for days and days, allow me to monitor it remotely through the apps and also on the GX touchscreen. So yeah, really happy with that, and I'll be putting that through its paces in the coming trips. There's a view of Griffin's roof, showing a 300 watt solar panel, the max fan to the front, the skylight to the rear, and the flat mounted Starlink on the left corner. Well, that brings the van tour to a close. I hope you enjoyed that content. I'm sure I will have missed something off. If I have, put a comment down below and I'll get back to you. If this is the type of content that you enjoy, please like and subscribe. There'll be more of this coming to the channel as I use Griffin to propel me to more adventures around the world. As you can see, it's a pretty cool camper van. The fact that it's no gas, off-grid, self-sufficient for 8 to 10 days at a time should serve me well. So as I say, please like and subscribe down below, and don't miss any more of these adventures in the van, which are sure to come.